Welcome back. Today we'll be reading from my novel, The Amnesia Experiment. You'll meet David, whose life is about to change in unimaginable ways. Here's Jerry to read Chapter 1.
David stood in the bedroom doorway and watched his wife methodically pack her bag. He did his best to keep the desperation out of his voice. "Why do you have to go?" "Because." Amy stopped rolling up a t-shirt, but didn't look at him when he said, "I can't stand to see you mope around." "I'm not moping around." "Yes, you are. We've discussed this ad nauseum. You are not responsible for Keith's death. You need to put the accident behind you and get on with your life." Amy yanked the zipper closed and slung the bag over her shoulder. She started for the door, but turned back and said, "I'll be back in a week or so." David didn't try to stop her. He knew she was right. He was no good to anyone the way he felt. He went into the study and picked up one book after another. Plenty of things he should read, or even wanted to read. But not just now. He wanted to lose himself in another world. He decided to go to Derek's Dive-In for a good sci-fi. At the bookstore, from habit, he stopped to check out the sale books in the foyer. There was the usual mix of cookbooks, children's books, and novels, no longer on the bestseller list. As he was about to give up the hunt for a bargain, a thick paperback snagged his attention. Sigle Rising, about a civilization that had abused their planet and first lived in domed cities on land, then undersea, to survive. He snagged it and took it to the checkout. It promised to be a good read with a theme close to his heart. Back home, he read the novel straight through, reluctantly taking time to fix a sandwich when his growling stomach refused to be ignored. It was early morning when he turned the last page. The book resonated with his concern for environment. It was what prompted him to make a documentary on melting icebergs. That documentary had led to Keith's death filming a difficult shot. After that, he'd given up on himself and on the environment. Now, Sigle Rising reignited his hope for environmental change. He could convert it into film. The storyline was strong, not too complicated. It would translate well. David slumped in a chair on the lanai and consulted the clouds reflecting in the pool. Was he doing it again? Was that crazy, arrogant thinking? But the author, Laura, was so believable. Of course, that's what a good writer did, made their word believable. Laura had written her novel as though she was just a reporter recording what she observed. That brilliant technique made her story all the more plausible and compelling. David's left eye twitched. His pulse raced. He would need money. Who would take the risk? He'd been out of circulation, in a funk. How much would Laura demand for the rights to her book? How long had the book been in print? He just stumbled on the paperback. Maybe someone else had already approached her. He retrieved the book and checked out the copy date, 2004. There was no hardback printing. He didn't recognize the paperback publisher. Obscurity might make the rights cheaper to acquire, but it would make it harder to snag a backer. He had to see Laura, convince her to do the film. Maybe she would write the screenplay. That would be the simplest, but not necessarily the best option. He might get Travis to write it, a possibility. He was keen on environmental issues, so he would be sensitive to the story. I'll get another copy of the book and send it to Travis, probably several copies. It'll probably take a lot of tries to line up a producer. No major studio will want this. Not enough blood and guts, not enough public interest in the environment. The political climate in the book is too much like our own. Money and power and self-interest. A weak middle class. Nothing new there. Laura was one clever girl, woman, whatever. He tried to imagine what she'd look like. She must be very nerdy. Did that mean dowdy? What did that matter? She must have been a science major. MIT? Or was she just terrific at research, at imagination? Since much of science was unknown, but there had to be some basic knowledge, some rudimentary understanding about the technology in her book. There was no biography on the jacket, not even a last name, just Laura. No website, which was strange given her technological savvy. The book included a site for the publisher. He would start there. He glanced at the clock. 4:32 a.m. Too late to go to bed, too wired to sleep. For the first time in months, he longed for Amy. Color was leaching back into his world. Not a world in full-blown technicolor, but a world no longer characterized by misty gray. His fingertips tingled. His blood was beginning to circulate again. He welcomed the pain of focus. He was having scary thoughts. He was standing at the top of a cliff about to jump off. He didn't care. He was going to find Laura. She couldn't reject him. That was unthinkable. He headed to the shower and shave. Then coffee. And food. Yes, definitely hungry. Not just for fuel, but for taste. For the joy of eating. Their Paramount diner was just blocks away. Blueberry pancakes, eggs over easy, sausage, the works. He reached for the phone to call Amy. Too early for that in a lot of ways. A lot depended on his meeting with Laura.
Thanks, Jerry. Next time you meet Laura, who's lived with amnesia for 5 years, but like David, her life is about to take a dramatic turn. Please join us.